Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Corporate Escapists TV show and podcast. I am your host, Christine Innes. So, if you remember a few weeks ago, I noted that I was going to come in and do a couple of just chats, literally just me sitting down talking about some of the things that I get asked a lot. And this is just another one of these episodes. So, if you need to hit pause right now, go and grab yourself a coffee, cup of tea, drink of water, glass of wine, get a pen and paper and get ready to take some notes, because I want to share with you about my decision to leave the corporate role. So this is your time now. Hit pause and come back. All right, so hopefully you're all nice and comfy right now and you're ready. So honestly, look, the decision to leave the corporate world really wasn't easy for me. And unfortunately, it was a decision that I had to make because I was also diagnosed with two life-changing illnesses at the time. And it really stopped me from working. And, at that point, I was quite ill. But one of the big things that happened with it is there were so many different fears and insecurities that happened. So even though I had left, I know that this happens with all of the people that I've spoken to previously that have been on that verge of leaving the corporate world. So I want to talk a little bit about that as well. So the first thing is obviously the fear of not knowing what to do afterwards, because it can be really overwhelming. And one of the big things is that if you've ever gone to a barbecue and you introduce yourself, how do you do it? Because most of the time, if you're introducing you to a new person, or you can say, "Hi, I'm Christine," and I used to say my job title. Imagine if you can't say that anymore. It's pretty scary because you have to show up as yourself. And that was one of the scariest things, most of all, because I only knew the Christine who worked in the corporate world. I didn't know the person who I am today, because I'd hid so much of that away, because I thought that in my corporate role, I had to show up a particular way. So, I really do talk a lot about, I really push back a lot of my, femininity, and stepped a lot into the masculine role because I thought that that's what I needed to do. I hid a lot of my emotions. I become quite numb to them as well. So just even the feeling of excitement and the feeling of, even fear, I didn't know how to react to it. So I actually had to go through that. The other thing was, how was I going to fill my day? So here I was working 80 to 100-hour weeks. And now I'm going, well, what am I going to do with myself? There's only so much, coffees you can have with friends. And, for myself, the thing is that because I'd moved back interstate to be closer to family, I'd left a lot of my friends in another state. So I was going back to just family and didn't have a big social network as well. So one of the things that I know this is why it was the best decision for me after 6 years is that number one is that I actually no longer needed a job title to actually define who I was. I have actually really stopped hiding behind the masks and those labels that I'd put on myself. So I don't say I was Christine Innes, the learning development specialist. I don't say I was Christine Innes, the manager. I don't even say that I was Christine Innes, Cody's mum. Like I just say I'm Christine Innes. And, it takes a lot of power within yourself to be able to do that. So if you're sitting there and you're thinking that you're wanting to leave the corporate world, I really do encourage you to sit down and to try and work out who you are. And one of the big things that you can do is to actually go through and work out what your values are. And honestly, that is one of the things that really helped transform my life. And look, it's not we've done a quiz, so go ahead and take it. It helps you put you in that right direction, but it is something that you really do need to do. When you know your own values, that is your foundation that you can live and breathe by as well. The second part, like I talked a little bit about of it, is I really did escape that sort of masculine environment and allowed my femininity to sort of come through. And what I've really have discovered is that it's actually okay that you can actually be a leader. You can actually have a business and still be very soft, can still be very vulnerable. And people really do warm to that, because I'm actually showing up authentically. I'm letting people know when, I may not be showing up, fully because something else is going in my life. But in addition to that is that I'm actually allowing all of those emotions to actually come through and really allowing me to connect really, deeply with all of my clients that I work with as well. So I guess that, they're the two key things. The third things is that like I really created a whole new lifestyle for myself. And one of the key things that I did was obviously introduce a morning routine for myself. And, look, I'm going to say, like, honestly, it's about 90% of the time that I actually do it. There are days where I don't. And most of the time it's on a Sunday or, if sometimes my morning routine might come a little bit later in the day because I've got an early morning call. But having that routine really has allowed me to change the way that I live. And a lot of the big things that's come from that is that I have to give to myself first. I can't give to others unless I give to me. And, everyone's heard the saying, you're in the airplane, the oxygen mask comes down, you put yours on first and you give to them, you can help others and help your kids and all of that. And it is very, very difficult to do that. But what I have learned is that when I'm at my peak, I can give so much more to other people. And my morning routine is really getting me into the right mindset. I'm very spiritual, so I like to make sure that I meditate, but I also set my intentions of what I want to achieve in that day. And it's such a contrast to what it used to be, where previously I would be up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, quickly get dressed, rush around, hair, makeup, like all that sort of stuff, get my son ready. He would then come into work with me before he would go to school at 7:30 in the morning. Like it would just be rush, rush, rush. And I was wondering why my life was so hectic and crazy. But now when I have this beautiful, graceful morning, the rest of the day just seems to flow. So I really do encourage you that if you are looking at leaving the corporate world, or even if you need to stay, in the corporate world, look at your morning routine, because the way you start your day is going to set you up for success, no matter what you're doing as well. Now, one of the other things is that, I am a really big believer. Now, a lot of the times I talk a lot about what's called victim mindset, victim mentality. It's poor me, why me? Why, why did this happen to me? Why have I had to go through bankruptcy? Why have I had to go through another failed marriage? Why have I had to, be diagnosed with two life-changing illnesses? Why me? Why me? But instead of sitting there, I actually use all of that and I go through all of the things that, has come and all the challenges that happen. I'm going, these are beautiful life lessons, because without all of that that's happened in my life, I wouldn't be here where I am today. I wouldn't be the strong, determined, driven, ambitious woman that I am today. And I'm using my story in a really powerful way to help inspire so many other people as well. So, one of the key things I want you to do, if you're sitting there today going, you know what, my job sucks, I can't stand it anymore, can't stand the people in there, turn it around and actually think about how grateful you are that you are still employed. Think about how grateful it is that that money that you get every week actually pays your bills. It pays for your kids' education. It pays for you to eat. It pays for you to fill up your car. It pays for you to go on a holiday. When we turn the bad stuff and we don't sit in victim mentality anymore and we turn it into such a positive things, it changes everything within inside of us. It changes how we look at the world. It changes how we look at our future. It changes so much more that I can't describe to you. So I just want you to know that if you're sitting there and you're thinking of escaping the corporate world, remember these three key things. So, first of all, I didn't need a job title to define me. All right. I stopped hiding behind all of those masks and labels and I found who I was in myself. The other thing is that I've been able to step more into my femininity. I've been able to let go of the masculine sort of corporate world there is. I love wearing dresses now. I love, not having to be in a suit. I love being able that I can share my voice in a very soft way, but still get my message across. And the other thing is that changing that routine up, changing it and creating the lifestyle that I actually want to achieve. So wherever you are right now in your life, you can do this. by just actually applying those three things into your life right now. But if you are thinking of leaving the corporate world, they work perfectly as well, because we need to actually get back in touch with ourselves. We need to find our true authentic self within ourselves so that we can shine bright. And especially if you're going to start a business, I talk about authenticity in business so much. There are so many episodes that I've done on the TV show and podcast. Go back and have a look at them, because it is super important that we really shine authentically in business. We really need to shine authentically in our life as well. That's the biggest thing that I can ever recommend to anybody. So stop hiding behind the masks and labels. Stop thinking that you're defined by a job title. Just remember how incredibly unique and beautiful you are right now, and actually own it. And just think of all of the amazing gifts that you've got. So if they are being hard lessons that you've learned, they are incredible life lessons that's taking you on a beautiful journey right now, that your story could actually inspire somebody else. So I hope you take that on board. I'd love to know your comments below. Please reach out. Make sure you connect with us on all of our social media accounts. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. And I will be back next week with another episode of the Corporate Escapists TV show and podcast. Remember to live life to the fullest every single day. Love and light to you all.